Hello, hello. Are we on? Hey there. I think you're muted or something. Just unmuted you.
Hello. Am I in?
Hey, man.
Am I good?
Yep. We're good. We're live and we have people watching, so keep your clothes on and stuff.
I will try. I'll try.
Yeah. I know it's difficult. um,
It is pretty hot here, so definitely taking my clothes off sounds more appealing than it
Oh,
is
yeah?
usually
well, you're in the desert, so
in the desert.
yeah.
Do you wanna play something? Play some music. See what the audio sounds like.
Yeah. Are you guys? Let us know in the chat if you're getting bass. Hey, Ivo. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. From Portugal. Hello from Italy. Wow, we're getting some international attention over here. Very exciting stuff. Rico is saying he's hoping for some Beat Scholar news. I guess we can talk about that in a second. We can kind of go over where we're at with Beat Scholar, and I'm guessing that's something that's interesting for a lot of people. We've been experiencing many new users coming along and slicing pizzas with us in the past few months. Bass is loud and clear. Thank you so much, the entertainer. Yeah, I understood. Don't worry. So yeah, we
I'm trying to
thought
bring up
we'd
some comments on the screen so that we can share everybody, because we're sharing in a couple of different places at the same time. You might be watching this on YouTube or on our Facebook, a few other places. So I'm gonna bring up everything so we can kind of interact with everybody somehow.
Awesome. Yeah, that's cool also for everybody to see what we're referring to in the chat. So we actually thought we'd start this sort of live stream as a regular thing. We do one. We're going to try and do one once a week. Usually our live streams would have like a topic or would have some reason to have it. But we just came to the conclusion that we're very interesting people that there's not a lot of people saying what they think today. Everybody is so modest and ashamed to say what they really think. So we figured we'll be the first ones to actually come out and speak our minds.
Yes.
No, yeah, but in all seriousness, we just wanted another way to interact with you guys and to answer questions and to kind of have another form of more direct engagement. And we're basically going to talk about just anything. That's the plan. We're both like-minded in the sense that we, first of all, our first passion is music and instruments, and then the world of plugin development is also naturally very interesting for us. We might even go over some new stuff that's been released, not even just by us, but by other companies. Just about anything that interests us. So yeah, that's the intro. There we go.
Yeah, and what we don't tell people is that we do these live streams as a way to get our minds off talking about the NBA playoffs and the stuff that we actually talk about during the day.
Yeah. Eyal and I have almost every company meeting we have starts with basketball for 30 to 45 minutes, and then we're like, okay, so we have this company to run. What is it called? Yeah, well, it's you can't only talk about one thing, right? Pacers. That's just a single word statement. Yeah, Pacers are cooking. What they did to the Knicks in the last game was just outrageous. The Knicks felt like when I go here in my neighborhood and watch people play on the court. That's what they looked like. Anyway, I don't know if this is interesting for everybody, but yeah. So it's good to have things in your life that besides your main avenue, just something to kind of take your mind off. We've been doing music and development for so many years, and so in such an intense way that it's fun to kind of have a shared hobby besides that.
Yeah, yeah. So one of the things that have been, I guess, keeping me busy in the last day or so is that there's a new version of Logic that came out, like Logic Pro 11.
Right.
I didn't even get to check out all the features that it has yet, but one of the things that it has that's not, I guess, because people talk about a lot of this update they did that had some AI features, and it is interesting and pretty cool. Like we can talk about that in a little bit. But when I installed it, the first thing that I noticed is that it got a really good piano sound, which I'm guessing they made for the AI. But you know, I'm a piano player. The first thing I'm doing is to play the piano and not to like have the AI generate the patterns.
Right.
So yeah, so let's see if I can share things.
Do you wanna show them what it's about? We've been playing with it just before going on, and it really just sounds great. Yeah, thank you, Dimitri. He's saying, I'm surprised you don't already have 1 million followers with real respect for your music. Well, we really appreciate that. Makes us feel all kinds of warm and fuzzy inside. But yeah, before going up, Eyal showed me the new piano by Logic, and really sounds fantastic. Like warm and realistic, and anything you'd want from a built-in sampler, I guess, in your DAW. Like that's the main thing, I guess, with Logic. It's just the amount of things you just get on day one, which is pretty hard to beat. Yeah, exactly. So this is like the Grand that's here. Can you? I don't know if you can see, but I'm actually playing. Hopefully, the camera is kind of shrunk a little bit. Sounding, I think. Right? Wow. Man, you played some beautiful stuff right there.
I'm losing it.
Yeah, don't worry. I recognize this tune.
It's a new Louis Cole song. It's so good. I need to make sure that I know my fingerings. So it's like
Yes, this is going to be recorded on our YouTube.
It's such a beautiful song. I think people don't realize that how beautiful that the writing of this song is. I heard it and it was immediately like very like Beatles like writing because it's got this counterpoint happening. See, can I put my can you put my keys like on the center?
So Dimitri is asking if we can play multiple instruments, which is an interesting question to ask. Basically, I don't know. I mean, it's very cliche to say that I play bass, but I also can play guitar pretty well. But yeah, that's about it. I'm actually completely useless on keys and stuff like that. I guess that's why we work together. Even though Eyal started as a bass player. Yeah, that's right. Actually, I started my music career playing classical music with clarinet. So I guess I don't know. I guess if you give me clarinet in a couple of weeks, I could get something out of it. I don't know if it will be pleasant for anybody.
Yeah, and I mean, even though I did play a punk band as a bass player, don't tell anybody. but
Yeah, don't worry.
yeah. So I played a little bit of bass and guitar, but I was never good at it. Like I was never being able to. I don't know why the shapes of that instrument never made sense to me. I know it's kind of weird because some people say it's really easy to like pick up the forms, but I could understand it like intellectually, but I was never any good. But when I picked up piano, which was after, that made sense to me because it's linear, because notes come in
So
one after the other and stuff. So for me,
You are
that's really the only
sorry.
instrument that I can play.
You are the only person to ever say that what you just said. That's so interesting, actually. I've known you all these years, and I've never heard you say that specifically, because most people are like, they can pick up and play guitar within a couple of weeks, I guess, like get the four chords going. But if they get into it, a piano looks so complex in comparison, because the guitar has a very like uniquely geometric kind of way to play it, and the piano is completely parallel, so it looks the same everywhere. That's what I'm trying to say. So yeah, that's a very interesting point of view, that the piano actually made sense in the way it's spread out more than the mechanics of a guitar. That's really cool.
That's actually something that before I go back to talk about music and logic and pianos and stuff. Yeah, I know. I know. I guess that's something that people have a lot of very interesting opinions about, because now I see. Now we're in the age of YouTube, right? And I see a lot of people talking about analysis, like they do like music theory analysis on the guitar. Like I see that a lot,
Right.
where they explain things, and I wish I would have that information when I was trying to figure out bass and guitar, because I've had a teacher trying to explain it to me, but I felt like I did not have enough guidance on how to figure out the fingerboard. Because he was trying to explain to me stuff like, okay, you have a chord, and then this note is the 9, and then how do you find the 9 on another string? If you're because you would teach you how to find the 9 chord or the 9 of the chord in a specific position, right? But then I would change position, and I would be like, okay, I have no idea where the 9 is if I want to change 9.
Right, that's actually
the A minor.
the thing that's more complex in guitar and bass is figuring out like the way to play certain phrases. So in piano, that's where the advantage is, where the keys are spread out in a way that it's the same everywhere. But in bass, like or guitar, you either completely rely on a muscle memory, so basically your hand automatically knows where the 9th degree of the scale or something, or the chord is, or if you're really like advanced, you're able to kind of on the fly, it's funny if I could demonstrate it somehow, how my mind see it. It's like imagine there's like little lights on the fretboard, and you play a phrase, and they kind of light up as you're playing, like, oh, this is where the 3rd is, this is where the 9th is, this is where, so you're able to kind of, I guess when you improve, you're able to navigate the fretboard while seeing all these little interactions that you're able to create. But it is more complex because you have the same note in several positions, which is something that's unique for these instruments as opposed to piano, where you only have the same pitch one time. So that's what really messes up sight reading in guitar and bass, because you gotta read a phrase and say, well, I can't run out of strings to play, so I have to start in a certain position. I mean,
what I you said something so interesting. When I went to music school, I remember the one thing that was amazing to me is that there's a class that's called sight reading for guitar players. There's no sight reading for other instruments, right? It's just a guitar player's course.
Well, first of all, guitar players aren't really well known for being proficient sight readers, to put it mildly. And also, that's the mechanical, like the interaction. There's friction between the mechanics and the music theory part in guitar, basically. So that's a constant thing that's happening. They grow into, like I said, they grow into like the muscle memory part, and they really lean on it. And then sometimes sight reading requires to kind of go in and out of your comfort zone frequently in order to kind of plan ahead and see what you're what you're about to play in a second. And that for me, it's the interesting thing is that I guess you kind of helped me in a sense do stuff like that, because when I heard Bad News Jitterbug, I never heard anything like it. I would definitely buy a ticket to hear it live. Oh, thank you so much, Dimitri. We actually played it live quite a bit on tour. I hope we'll get a chance to play it again soon. Anyway, so what I was saying is, when Eyal would have me play lines that he basically often like composed on a piano, I'm guessing, or maybe he, MIDI programmed the lines. I don't know. I'm guessing most of them started on piano. And that kind of put me on the spot because, it's a different instrument. He would make leaps between notes that I wouldn't, and would require me to also like, get to kind of plan ahead. Like he would play a phrase, and I would like, where do I need to even start in order to, have this played fluently? And that really helped me develop control on the fretboard and kind of understand and plan ahead. I think aside from oh, thank you, Andre. I appreciate it so much. So yeah, I kind of started developing ways to move around the fretboard like this. So to get like from this G, which is pretty low, all the way up the fretboard in a sort of fluid way, and to understand where I should like rotate my hand and make more fingers available. So I'll just play freely for a second. These kind of watery phrases, I would say, a lot of them came from just like having to play piano lines, which don't have the same intervals that I'm used to by, when playing bass lines. And that's something, I guess, that's been kind of a key point for me, even in playing other things, is taking inspiration from other instruments and, playing. I'd hear guitar players or piano players playing beautiful chord progressions, and Eyal knows, like, a lot of times when he would compose something, I'd pick his brain and say, like, what I know I'll play bass, but what are these chords like? What is the voicing here? Like, what are you, what where should I put my hands to make this beautiful sound you're making right now? So that's something you can really, if you're playing on any instrument, that's like a huge recommendation. So I'm not really original with it. A lot of people are saying stuff like that, but for me, it's something. And any interesting technique that I play is basically kind of inspired by another instrument. So just another small example, if you don't mind, Eyal.
Yeah, of course. I'm actually fascinated by this. I have so many questions myself. So
cool. So even if I'm playing something like this. Or even so it's basically bass slapping or palm muting and all that, but what I'm hearing in my head is like a Latin band. It's like a percussion player and a double bass player, and it's all like going around at the same time. So that's the way I figure these things out. It's like you sit alone in a room with a bass, which sounds pretty sad, but it usually is. And then you're like, well, man, I wish I had a guitar player next to me and a drummer, but I don't. So I might as well use the instrument that I love and know how to play to kind of bring these guys along. So, just like one thing I do, if I had a drummer, I would just say play a backbeat. So that's something that my right hand does. and so on and so forth. So that's the way these things develop. So yeah, that's always been a fascination of mine, kind of the inspiration you can get from the different way different instruments work mechanically. So what kind of intervals are comfortable on piano? What kind of rhythms are comfortable on double bass or on, I don't know, saxophone or whatever.
You know, one of the interesting things I remember I noticed when I saw you playing at first, like before I knew you, when I saw you having your videos, your bass videos, is that you were doing all these like big chords on the bass, right? You had these like really big spreads on the chords, which is which was so interesting.
Like this?
Yes.
Yeah, that's these are actually shapes that I started out with when I had an amazing teacher, like the guy you said that failed to teach you different things on the bass. So I had a guy that was like, "Let me show you the coolest things you can do with this instrument." And as soon as he went like this, I said, "Stop! I need to know how to do this. I don't care what it is. This is like the most beautiful sound I've ever heard." And we actually kind of, if you remember, our song "Twisted Truth" sort of started with this. Do you remember that session? Like we
yes,
went like,
of course.
So it started with exactly this chord, but we kind of tweaked it around until it became. So so it ended up somewhere real, you know, with a kick-ass track we released with it. But yeah, those chords are also like a way that I felt that I'm kind of summoning more music out of bass than I guess what people are used to. These days it's actually it's more common, I guess, than 15 years ago when I started or something. Or more,
Yeah,
even, like 17 years.
I mean, I remember, am I frozen? So I'm just saying, I remember sessions when we've had for songs like In Orbit, right? And I remember, you know, the B part for In Orbit, like it's got this beautiful harmonic structure to it.
Right.
But it's, you know, it's a very busy bass line. But I remember when we were working on it, I told you, hey, like there's like I love how it expresses these chords. Like it wasn't like because a lot of the bass shredding stuff that people are doing, I feel, is very harmonic. Let's call it obscure sometimes, right? Because I think, you know, when you play fast on bass, if it's high notes, it kind of doesn't sound like a bass anymore. It's like sound like something else. And if you're playing a lot of low notes, then it's like a mess. It's like where's the harmony in this?
Yeah,
it's muddy. And I remember when you played the B part of In Orbit to me, I kept feeling like, hey, this is just like such a beautiful chord change expressed in this bass line.
I'll just play it real quick for people that don't know it. So it goes like this. Oh, sorry. So yeah, that's the funny thing. It kind of, if you listen to the dynamics, what gives it, like the reason this is able to be played along with other instruments is the fact that it has dynamics like a piano, I guess, you know. So the notes, this is something that's been like my life's work, is with the intensity of slapping. Usually dynamics go out the window and people just like fire it, you know, as fast and as powerful as they can. But I've always tried to maintain exact control of you know, the velocity of each note and stuff like that, just so I can play it in sort of a musical way rather than just the usual way, which is also great. I love it, but you know, it you know, it's much more fun for me to kind of explore like that. It feels almost like I have mallets and I'm playing marimba or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you remember one of the things I like when we were working on this. Let's see if I can open my little thing in this.
It's upside down.
Is this upside down? Why?
What happened?
Uh, what did I turn
Maybe you
maybe
flipped
upside
the
down?
stand or something. This is making me dizzy.
That's kind of weird. It just started to be upside down, right? It wasn't like that before.
Yeah,
Uh,
it wasn't like
let's
that
see if we
before.
can. That's interesting.
Technical difficulties, guys. You'll get your money back. We promise. Not for the plugins, just for this minute of stream. There we
We're
go.
back. So I remember when you were playing this initially. There was this because the chord is so rich. I wish we could play this together in sync. You know, the track isn't there. If you. So I remember all I did was I held out these like open chords. I had like a right.
Mm-hmm.
And you're doing everything in between, right? You're
Exactly, yeah. And then there's a
I love the
melody on
fact that-
top.
Yeah, and I love the fact that you were playing this. I think it's so unique in in the world in general, but in bass specifically, where you hear this bass line. It's almost like you mentioned, the bass is like it's almost like the bass has the bass and the guitar part like kind of combined in it.
Yeah.
And it still does not sound muddy. Like it doesn't sound like the bass player is overplaying. To me, at least, it sounds just like beautiful harmony. And I could just add.
Yeah. That's why I mentioned the dynamics, because if I played it like this, you wouldn't have a good time playing on top of it. Like the fact that I have this control over dynamics makes it so that you're able to like lay down a really gentle chord and articulate it and still have it heard. Because this is a very obnoxious sound, basically. Slapping generally is a sort of obnoxious sound if you do it too much, which I'm often guilty of, but that's sort of my getaway. So like I slap a lot, but at least I can kind of control the dynamics of it, so it's not as intrusive. But yeah, I guess like for me, I'm at a point where I don't really hear it as the cliched kind of form of slapping. It's just another way to play. Same goes for, anytime we work on music together, I guess like subconsciously we sort of search for the best way to express what's going on. And sometimes it's even an open conversation, but often it's like we'd play a line. Do you remember like in I don't actually remember how to play the entire thing, but in Theme from Planet Codex, there's in the live version. So we had this. Sorry, it's been a couple of years. So this part sort of came out of. Yeah, I wish we could play together. Actually, it'd be cool to do that. But you guys can go ahead and check that out. We have a really cool performance with Omri Abramov and Sharon Petrover.
With Dekel Dvir, actually.
Oh, sorry. Well, you can fault me for being confused.
Yeah. Yes.
So this part, let me just zoom out in a second and play it again. That style. So it's funny because it wasn't that much of a conversation to do this. So it was like, well, there's this percussive style that really fits this. We don't consider it like, oh, this is a special bass technique that we need to, really think if we want regular bass or this. Like that's a sort of approach that we have, I guess, in a lot of things. Like we just use the coolest, best thing that we're able to do at a certain moment, whether it's a plugin or a technique in bass or a sound, So that's something, I guess, that's a great connector between us, actually, because when I auditioned for Project RNL, there was a point where I had a lot to prove as a player. So I practiced all these techniques and I didn't really have anywhere to kind of showcase them until I joined the band. That was sort of a thing that I felt like, wow, this guy really gets it. So your references for other musicians combined with like your openness to sort of always go for the best thing available, for the best, like the coolest option available. That's sort of a thing that really excited me about making music with you. So, and it kind of goes between all the instruments. So if Alon like is an insane guitar player and he can do like tapping with 8 fingers on the fretboard, and the approach was always like, sure, do that. Yeah, that's how you want to express that. Like, you know what? Let's double down. Let's not make this like a passing moment. Let's make this part just about this awesome thing that you're able to do. So,
yes, yeah. I remember we were doing a lot of that. I'm gonna open this. So anyway, I got into this because I was playing this. Oh look, my screen share is gone. Right.
We were talking about the Logic piano for like a minute before going on a.
Yes, let's see if we can bring it back. Okay.
There we go.
Now it's back, right? So, yes, what I was saying is, even though, okay, good. Let's see if I can do something maybe like this. Okay. All right. So,
there we go.
So there we go, right? So this is, hopefully this sounds okay. So I know why I'm in this like piano mode lately, just because I've been, this piano came out yesterday and I was playing it and having fun with it. And it's actually, again, I know everyone are talking about AI, and we can show this a little bit. There's all these like AI features to like generate parts. Would be interesting to talk about. But I just like how this sounds. This is the grand one, but I like the upright piano. So I like it because you can play stuff like. So it's I don't know. I feel like it's got a really, really punchy feeling to this.
Definitely.
Or I don't know. So I don't know. I love that. That it's got this like it's very bouncy, but it's very, I feel like pretty responsive. These pianos. It's got the concert grand. So it's really smooth to play, and it's really really made me feel good to see that people are still putting out, smooth sounding instruments.
Right. Yeah. Smooth, I guess, is the way to describe it. It's beautiful.
So we got a question from Larry.
Oh, we do.
Of the Larry Sari Show, like, what are we listening to? What plugin? So this is the new Logic Pro 11 that just came out, and it got a few instruments built in. So one of these is this Studio Piano. It's called. It's right here. It's built in Logic, so it's not an external plugin. It's called Studio Piano. This came out yesterday, so I'm just having fun with this. This is not. This is not something we developed. That we had. This is just us, I guess, as musicians trying to experience, the new stuff that are coming out. and it's just cool for me that playable piano are here. There's a few other instruments that came in this.
Let's check them out
with this release. So there's the bass, and you'll have definitely a few opinions on the bass, just because I don't know if people know, but Or and I also have a bass plugin that's released that work on for Waves. But this one is interesting. So let's talk about it. I'm going to play a few things. I didn't play it a lot, so we can experience it together.
That's actually pretty good. For most part.
And notice that it did do stuff that like it picked up polyphony correctly. Like it realized that this is polyphonic and moved me in the same string here a little bit. So it did a little bit of position action.
Oh, it's constantly moving. Do you have control over the position?
I think there's a
or is
little
it
bit. I don't
always automatic?
Let's see. There's a little bit of control. So you see, you have voice mode, polyphonic, monophonic, and mono per string.
Yeah, that's
open
the
strings.
same.
I don't know if you can actually move. Yeah, I don't know if you can actually move the position manually. It's got like stuff like portamento speed and stuff, which I think is used if you're doing a slide. Like so if I'm going to have like a longer slide. Yeah, so it takes this slide from my my pitch bend wheel. Are you here, Or? I think I lost Or. Oh, Or.
No, I just got myself out of the way so people can see the entire thing.
Yeah. Let's see if we can get the. Can we see the keys as well, or not? Are the keys gone?
Yeah, now you can.
Yeah. So, I don't know if you can see my hand. There's a pitch wheel in here. I don't know if you can see. But so when I do a slide, I don't really see my hand. But when I do a pitch bend, it takes the speed from the setting, I guess. Like it's basically triggering a sample of the slide. But it sounds really good. I think it's not like the actual slide. It just doesn't do at the speed that I'm doing exactly, but it's pretty close. So
gotcha.
So
I guess when you program it in, it might be better.
So this is the 60s bass. And I have the two pickups here.
It's pretty good sounding. That's weird. I wonder how they did that. Man, I've been thinking about that when we did our instruments, because it would require sampling everything twice, but I mean, you could kind of record once and just individually send each pickup to a different channel. Like you'd need to hack the bass to do that, but it's very much possible.
Yeah.
So Larry also asks, do you think Apple Logic developers are using Juice or something of their own creation? I program as a hobby using Sea Lion. Oh, cool.
That is a great question. I actually know the answer to this but first of all, Apple would never use Juice because they've had their own years of doing libraries kind of like Juice way before Juice existed. And I know that because when I worked for other companies, like Waves and stuff, Juice is something that only became a thing, I want to say early 2010s or something, right? That was when it became more popular. But, all the companies developed their own version of Juice, like their own libraries to write audio software way before that. And Logic existed way before Juice. Waves existed way before Juice. So they definitely have their own thing that they built for, and I guess there's a lot of technical advantages to them having built their own like libraries because they have now control over this, right? Let's say Apple, they wrote their own format called audio units. Like they don't need to support VST or something, or VST3. Like they don't need to interact with the world. They can always interact with their world, for example. So from what I know, it's all done with things they've developed in house. And that's by the way a thing that is a big theme in bigger companies like Microsoft, Apple, Google.
Right. I was just about to say.
Yeah.
Sorry, that any company that can maintain their own code base like that and have resources to do that, they should. Like if we had the opportunity to break away from Juice at some point and kind of maintain our own code base which is totally customized to our specific needs, naturally that's a very that holds a lot of advantages. But it's just super difficult as a smaller company to do that, and luckily there's things like Juice to kind of help us, get up and running at lightning speeds. But yeah, I guess Apple as well as other companies that are large and have a lot of cash, they maintain their own system. But there's also a legacy thing because they've been around for forever. I guess like music apps from Apple have been around. I like you said probably way longer than Juice has. So
yeah, Logic itself is pretty old and existed way before Apple, because Logic used to be made by a German company called eMagic, and it was bought by Apple. This is going years ago, and I'm sure. By the way, Logic used to run on PC. People forget that. We used to run on Windows. I know people personally who have produced great music with Logic on Windows. That used to be a thing. Anyway, so what I'm saying is that a lot of the code for Logic, right, was written in days that even were Juice was not even seen for 15 years when Logic was made, and it's all written probably in something like very, very low level C++ and not on top of some library.
We got another code/development question. Would we ever focus on iPlug 2 and thoughts on the clap format? I'm not familiar with iPlug. Maybe you are, but we did talk about claps here and there.
Yes. So let's talk about it. So let's talk about this. So iPlug 2 is another plugin wrapper library made by Oli Larkin. Oli Larkin is an amazing developer. He now works, I don't know, full-time or part-time, but I think he works for Ableton. He's a very, very, very smart developer, and he's done an amazing library called iPlug 2. It's a fascinating library, and I really like Oli. I think he's one of the brilliant developers in the space. For us, it doesn't kind of make sense to switch from Juice to iPlug 2. We're not going to get any advantage by doing this. I know some people don't like the Juice licensing, so they switch to this iPlug 2 for the plugin wrapper side. It doesn't really have any technical advantage. It's more of something else that solves the same problem in a different way. If you're making a new project and you're okay with the things that iPlug 2 don't have, because Juice does things we need, like iOS, Linux, plugin hosting as well, not just plugin developing, and iPlug 2 does not do all of that. But if you're okay with the set of features that iPlug 2 has, you can now, with a new project, choose to use them, but also then you realize that iPlug 2 does not do any UI, so you have to kind of find a UI library. So it's more like it's a very kind of technical decision that's very on the not interesting side of things. Like, what do you use to wrap the plugin formats? It's right. It's a very boring decision that as a user you're not going to see. Like, let's say we switch from this thing to this thing. As a user, you're not going to see any advantage to this. It's not going to bring some new features to you or something.
It also speaks to the advantages of something like Juice, how difficult it is to make something that's sort of aggregates enough of every sort of field that you need in order to create a plugin.
Yeah, exactly. And it's one of those things that are just interesting. I know for people who didn't do development, it's kind of, sometimes you hear those names talked about, like, hey, people use use clap. People write directly through the VST SDK. Like there's all these libraries. At the end of the day, these are not the parts of a plugin that are interesting. These parts are very low level. Like if I wanted to use another plugin wrapper, I probably could write my plugin wrappers in a couple of weeks. Like it's not very interesting work. It doesn't have very super interesting engineering behind it. The plugin wrapping stuff. It's more like, there are all these like plugin formats like VST, 3, AU, and AAX for Pro Tools. And all those formats are essentially very similar. Like it's, there's a DAW, it loads the plugin, it brings up the plugin, it's to load and save the preset from the plugin and then play audio through it. And there's some low-level details in the implementation of how to do this, like, because they're all written in some sort of C or C++, so you have to wrap the calls so that your plugin behaves the same across these platforms. So there's some technical level to this, but I don't find it very interesting in the sense of, like, let's say I use this wrapper or this wrapper. My users are not going to see it. They don't look at the wrapper. Right. They look at the UI of the plugin. They look at they hear the sound of the plugin. So they look at the interesting stuff that we're putting most of the effort on, right? They don't care. Like if we use clap, the user doesn't care that it's called clap or something else.
Yeah, but I'm guessing the question is more, I'm guessing Dom is from the world of developing plugins because of the Doom plugs moniker. So I'm guessing he's asking more from a developer standpoint, and I'm very much relating to what you're saying because, managing a company and trying to get your products out there, you kind of have to take the path of least resistance, at least, I guess, at first. So whatever gets you to your goal quickly and efficiently is the thing you're gonna choose. So exploring other frameworks would only be worthwhile if we felt there's like a huge advantage by doing that, and it's worthwhile the effort of converting everything we're doing to another framework.
Yeah, and it's also, I mean, I don't, when you think of like somebody starting a new project, there are sometimes there are a decision to make. Well, why do I even need something like Juice? Maybe I don't need the features that Juice has. Like for example, if you're going to write your UI entirely in OpenGL, maybe Juice is not for you because you're not going to use all the UI features that it has, right? So maybe there's some Clap is more interesting, I think, because first of all, Clap is a plugin format. So there are and Clap has a few technical advantages over existing plugin formats. Like most of these advantages are not used by current DAWs on plugins, but they could be used. So that's why I think that part is really interesting. Like Clap has features, for example, to pass threading information between the DAW and the plugin, which leads to better efficiency. And Clap also has the ability to, there's some communication about voices for a synth. And both of these can lead to a much more efficiency in the performance. If you're writing a Clap plugin and you have a Clap host, but the thing is, those are only efficiencies for very specific kind of plugins. Like it might be very useful for a synth, for example. It might be useful for a multi-effect plugin that can run in parallel and work with threads. So there's some advantages there, but they will only be useful for some vendors. And the thing is, it's going to be probably a long time until Clap is a thing on most of the popular DAWs. I know that Bitwig now loads Clap, I think, but I don't think many of the other popular ones are getting into it. So what people do now is that they write a Clap plugin, but then they wrap it in VST3. So you don't even get the advantages of using Clap as a format. You only get the advantages of the wrapper libraries that are built around Clap. And those libraries are not in a complete state. Like they don't have them for all the formats yet. It's like an in development project that's interesting to watch. I think there's a lot of interesting developments happening in that space. But it's not like something that immediately is going to make a big change on you as a user. Is my point. Like we can. I'm definitely looking at that space all the time because there is going to be a time where it's going to be worthwhile for us to make sure that we're supporting the clap features, for example, and do the threading stuff. But I'm not sure if the user is going to see so much of that. Like it's more like our thing, like making sure that we're, that when this call is the threading reporting call is exposed to. Is exposed from the host into our plugins, we answer that, right? It's more like this, but it's very likely that it's something that's going to exist in Juice, and it's going to exist in iPlug 2 and all the wrapper libraries as well. Like it's not going to be either or thing.
Cool.
Yeah, so Larry said by the way, this great thing about Logic. It was called Notator on the Atari platform. This is way before my day. This is history that I was not aware of. So it was on the Atari platform, then it was ported to a couple of other platforms, including PCs. Yeah, I did not know that. I did not know that
cool.
Logic had this history. I've only been exposed to Logic from the PC days. I've had friends that I knew, like some of the when I was starting out in Israel in my music career, I got to know this guy called Avner Kenner. Some people who are watching this may have seen his son, Eitan Kenner, who's also an amazing musician, but his father was one of the greatest composers. And I remember he was making all this amazing music in Logic, right? On a PC. He really did not like the fact that Logic was bought by Apple. He hated that he had to switch to a Mac. But I remember he was the one who turned me on to Logic. This is the early 2000s we're talking about, and I think that the very early 2000s. And I was really interested to see this change happening in the sphere of the space of the software. Yeah, I'm not sure why I get to talk about it, but we were I really wanted to see what you think more about these few features that the bass has.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to play a few of the other sounds. So
yeah, just jam along with the rock in the session.
So this is the rock. By the way, there's playing style for some of these. So for example,
cool.
The rock has pick. So
this is finger though.
This is finger, and let's switch to pick.
Oh, that's pretty bad.
Let's see what the definition does. So this has got this thing called tone, neck tone.
Yeah, it's basically they recreated the toe knob and the pickup knobs. That's one of the things I'm most interested about.
Switch the finger again.
Can you hit a really loud note?
I'm trying. Let's see. Can I? Let's open my the key. Just the. Can I bring back the keys? Here we go. Okay, so you can see what I'm doing. I'll try to hammer.
Can you go to pick and then play a loud note?
Yeah.
Oh god. So, okay, you'll just move on, and I'll say what I think later.
So this is session. It's a finger.
Can you open the bridge volume all the way?
Yeah.
Sorry for.
Yeah, that'll lead me. Tell me what to do.
Yeah, because that's the jazz bass sound you want, basically. Can you remove the definition position or at least place it on like 100%? I'm just curious as to. Oh, okay. So it's like this is the realistic.
And it is muted.
That's interesting. Though it doesn't sound really sampled. It is cool.
Yeah, just to let everybody know who's been watching. So we're looking at the new studio bass that's built into Logic Pro 11 that came out yesterday. So we're just checking it out and looking at all the features.
Can you move the UI of the plugin a bit to the right so I can see the painting of the I want to see what bass this is supposed to be.
Oh yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? Yeah. You can also minimize it a bit.
Make it fit like this, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Is it? Yeah, that's cool. How weird is it that this is called modern and then the bass has been around from the 60s?
By the way, I see. Aren't there 5 strings here? Are there 4 or 5? Oh, 4. I'm just blind. You know, I need to put on my glasses.
That's fine. Yeah, I was like, wait, this is called modern. It's obviously a Music Man. They did recreate the knobs on each bass faithfully, which I really appreciate.
Yeah?
Yeah, because this one only has 1 pickup, so you don't have 2 volume. Oh, come on. The fact that I can hear this already means it's not realistic. It's actually the best one, I think, so far. This sounds really good.
Nice string sound, right?
Everything. Just this is what I was sort of missing from the other ones. There's a sort of mechanical sensation and feedback. And
the high notes sound pretty good, right?
Yeah, the dude that sampled it, or dudette, that sampled it, is just really nice finger tone. Right? This sounds like a really good player. Beautiful. Wow. Also a beautifully tuned instrument, like in the way.
Yeah, look at this.
How'd you do that?
I have no idea what I did. How did I get it slide?
I guess I'm guessing that if you nail the portamento value, it does that or something. That's interesting.
I wish I would, actually be able to find upright bass players playing so in tune, right? Like real ones.
In tune.
It's so hard to find ones who play in such good tuning.
Well, it's a cumbersome instrument. So for me, the best one was the double bass. Right after that is this one. The P bass is like sounding just right, as a P bass should. There are things, I would see here as well. Like the reason I asked you to play a loud note on the other one. Are you getting, like, when you really hammer on a note here, you're getting a lot of mechanical noise and it's kind of pushing the note forward and giving it a lot of presence. So that's what I was missing from the rock bass, which is kind of funny because this is a much better rock bass than the one called rock bass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like in terms of when you hit a low note, it just goes grrr. This is a very well-rounded and kind of solid sound. You know what I mean? As opposed to this one has a bite in terms of velocity. This is a rock bass, as far as I'm concerned. This sound with a bit of like overdrive or something could really be killer.
So let's see how this works with the AI features. So I'm just gonna load the same thing. I think I need to.
I was priming you to add beat fuzzer on top of it, but never mind.
Oh, we could do just that. That'll be a great idea. So,
I'm kidding. I just said it would sound great with distortion.
Yeah, let's try it. I think it's gonna be awesome. So, so I'm gonna open.
Let's
so
do
it's
both.
got. So you open like a session player. You got a drummer, bass player, and keyboard player.
Can we have the drummer playing bass, or does that crash the software?
Okay, so.
Oh, that's cool. Did you hear how it did the slide? Like really. The release samples are great.
Yeah. So you can you can choose settings that can have, okay, let's have more complexity or more intensity. Let's do more intensity. Or it's just volume. But I think you can do. Oh, here you go. So melody. Let's have it like play most notes. And you can choose like you see, I have like different setups for a player. So this is let's try disco slap.
Oh God.
See what this does.
It's actually cool. It did change the bass though.
Yeah, and I think you can go when the so let's see. So
Cool.
Full complexity, fill amount. Let's try a lot of fills.
Woo!
Let's have a lot of fills. Let's see if I can play on top of this. Let me open a new track with just the piano.
That's actually cool. Really cool.
I mean, I would have to say that for a songwriting preset, it's like this is. I mean, this is what I would expect from a songwriting preset, really, right? Like give me something that works with my chords, and it feels kind of tasteful, right?
Yeah, I mean,
In terms of like the
dialing
actual,
up the
like,
fill
licks.
amount all the way up is something uniquely for you. I guess for most people, the direction of that knob would be 1%. But yeah, it really, I'm really taken aback by how well it's done. In terms of, there's like licks that are sort of staples of bass playing here that you would expect from a professional bass player to just, hey, play a fill there. This is the sort of stuff you'd expect. So stylistically, it's very on point. There are here and there like let's call it the usual disadvantages of sampled instruments in terms of little. I'm a bass player myself, so my ear is super sensitive to places where it just doesn't perform well in terms of like how a bass actually sounds. But other than that, I mean, I'm actually kind of blown away by how cool it sounds, and the fact that you kind of just have it. This is a product that I guess. Oh,
Nobody's supposed to see this. Ignore this.
Yes, this relates to the first question in the stream of plans for Beat Scholar and stuff. But yeah, this is the bass player thing is it's pretty awesome. Eyal is currently unflagging something so he can use Beat Scholar properly.
Yeah. Yeah, let's not show my secret dev flags in here. Let's let me. How do I do this for a second? Get the screen off while I actually just install the regular version of Beat Scholar instead of this weird version of Beat Scholar that we've been working on.
Yeah. So just so people know, when you develop plugins, sometimes you have like flags which sort of turn on different modes that you're testing currently, and that's sometimes when we work on updates, we have separate versions of the plugins naturally, and I'll just open Beat Scholar with a very weird mode that we've been working on. Maybe going back to that question while Eyal installs the regular version, we are constantly talking about Beat Scholar and kind of thinking of ways to improve it, and it's on our mind constantly. It's also still like a very successful plugin for us, and we do love it. We are aware that it's been a while since we've updated it, even though
but
I
not
think
a
it's
year.
been a few
it's
been a few months.
Yeah,
because we did like a huge sampler overhaul, and we upgraded the sample quality as well as adding different formats. Now Beat Scholar can get like you can use a bunch of different audio formats in Beat Scholar, and I don't remember some bug fixes, I guess, as well. But we are talking about expanding the functionality and looking for the opportune moment to kind of put our time towards that. While we, the more exciting news that we can't really share anything about is that we're working on more plugins in that sort of area, in the compositional area, and things that will really expand the functionality of everything we do. So there's a lot to look forward to besides the updates for our old plugins, but we constantly have that in mind, and we're constantly looking for the right window to kind of release that, as well as updates for Mindset drums. We have new MIDI files ready and sort of bug fixes and better adaptations for e-kits and all those sort of things floating around. Did I kill enough time for the installation?
No, that's good.
Do you want me to?
My setup is just a bit weird, so I'm just fixing something because I have all these. Let's call it unbaked versions of Beat Scholar, and I want to load like the real normal Beat Scholar.
If anybody has any other questions, we'd be happy to answer them. We also have a Discord server that's pretty active, and people are sharing music and ideas and whatnot on it. So if you want to join, I'll put the link in the chat. I'll do it right now. How's everybody doing? Are we alive? Is anybody out there listening? So I just posted our Discord server. You guys are welcome to join and chat with us. We're like every day we're there and answering everybody. At least trying our best to get back to anybody that sends a message.
Okay, so I think I'm back to a normal setup. Yes, good. Okay.
Oh wow, that was loud.
I'm sorry.
Hey. Thank you guys for writing that you're here. What's going on? I love this comment. A lot is going on. We're basically, for people that just stumbled on the live, like Aiden, we're testing out the new version of Logic with the AI features and the new bass sampler specifically, and we're also kind of using our own plugins in conjunction with it. So what you're hearing right now is the AI generated bass line with Beat Scholar doing 4 on the floor kick drums, triggering
into mindset.
Into mindset. Yeah, I was just about to say that. Triggering mindset drums. Yeah, no worries. Yes. No worries.
Yeah. So I just did that so that I can very quickly do like some nice, sorry. Right, let's have some nice backing
Wow,
track.
that hi-hat sounds really good.
Right? So, this is the kind of nice thing to get.
It has kind of a Chili Peppers vibe, like from the latest albums.
Okay. So hopefully, what I'm doing. So this is the. So just to make it, what we're observing here is we're actually we're using our plugins here, but we're also using the newest AI features in Logic. It's called Session Player. So you have a few session players. You have a drummer, which we did not use. We're using our sequencer, but we're using the Session Player bass player, and I'm about to use the Session Player keyboard player as well. That they have, but I just want to see this. So
let everybody, all the AIs jam together, and we can we can basically head out and go to sleep.
Exactly. So let's switch to another style. It's indie disco. Let's see what's different about indie disco.
Oh, it changes tempo.
Oh yeah, that's interesting.
Oh, basically, indie disco means the bass player sucks. Oh, okay. Just remove knowledge. Please remove knowledge and experience from my bass player.
So, Isadon is asking, are these AI features beneficial? You know, we're just looking at them as much as you do. Like we're just discovering them. I mean, I gotta be honest. Some of these things are pretty tasteful. Let's regenerate based on these same settings. And I love the fact, by the way, that it follows the chords, right? Like it's not like randomly playing stuff. Like it's basically, I know this is called AI and everything is called AI these days, but this is something that has been around for years. Like the idea of like having a generator. I mean, Logic had it. It was called Drummer, and this is like going back 10 years ago at least. Bend in a Box had it 20 years ago. Like generators is a thing about how, like generating patterns based on some settings.
Mm-hmm.
I think the fact that it's, you know, maybe using some other tech, well, let's call it AI, it's, I guess, nice for the implementer, but I think the idea, like, you know, I would use, I mean, I don't know if I would release this song, but I might use this as a starting point when writing a pattern. I'd be like, okay, let's hear a few different variations for a pattern, then I would write my own pattern based on an inspiration, right? It's more like a preset for starting point, right? And I like the fact that the way it's done is it's more of like you know, like this is done in a professional setting to me. Like this is not like a lot of the AI stuff that are out there that's more like instant music. You type something, you get full music.
Right. Yeah, that's what I like about it.
Yeah. I can work with this. I would use this as a guide track, and then I would send it to you to write a good part around whatever I'm doing, stuff like that. Right.
Yeah, I mean that's what I was impressed with it, is the fact that basically you're getting good stuff to get your track going, and probably some people will also use it for, you know, for their final tracks. But aside from that, you're getting like a level of control over the output, which is cool. So I guess that's when we discuss about AI tools in our context, like in composing music, like where can it get you? We keep thinking like, what is the right boundary between having this sort of automatic music generation black box that you have nothing to do with and just creates something great, let's say, and manually inputting notes. So between those two edges, you know, there's a lot of spectrum to cover, and I guess the struggle I'm trying to describe is like pinpointing the right amount of control to have over these tools, so you're not like over encumbered by details, but you also have a sense of, I made this. I made the exact choices to create this sort of piece of music.
Yeah.
Thank you, Adon. We appreciate you subscribing to us. So it's cool. If you don't know our plugins, you can go to modalics.com, modalics.com, and check out. We have quite a few of them, including this beautiful purple drum kit, as well as Beat Scholar, Eon ARP. I'll just put it in the chat.
And by the way, Project RNL fans, this kit was actually the kit that was owned and recorded by Doron Giat, who played on a lot of the Project RNL tracks. Even on some of the tracks that he wasn't playing on, we actually used his kit. Like if you watched stuff like another one live video,
right.
Which we record with Dekel Dvir, it's still this kit, and we sampled this kit in a really high def way. And it's got a bunch of articulations.
Doron actually sampled it. I don't know if that's what you started out saying, but this is not just the kit. This is the actual guy.
It's him, it's the person. Yeah. Exactly. And so a lot of and also so if you like the Project RNL style sound, this is like the most high def way to get the Project RNL sound as a kit. So it's kind of cool. And what I did was I'm just using this as a backing track with our drum sequencer Beat Scholar loaded as a MIDI effects, which is kind of cool. Like I can use, I just sequenced this like, how do you call it? Like a Chili Peppers pattern quickly, so I can get, so I can use it as a backing track to experiment with this AI. So I just added, who knows what's going to happen, but I just added this, this track was like a session, like another session musician, like an AI musician for the piano.
So they're going to jam.
This is what it's going to do. This is and let's see if we can use it. This is our preview. Let's see what I can change about this to make it like more contextual with whatever it is the disco bass player is playing. Let's try what's freely. Let's see what's freely.
That's cool. That's way cool.
Okay, voicing. Let's give it like all the different voicing keys. Oh, style. Okay. Steady 8 notes. That's what that is. Oh, it's different for the left hand and right hand. So I can say,
oh man, that's
right,
cool.
Left hand is simple. Right hand is. Let's do add octave for the left hand, and right hand let's do for voice. There it is. Movement. Large range. Let's regenerate another pattern. Is there stuff like note length in here? Let's see. Oh, grace note. Okay, that's interesting. Feel, pull or push. That is. Oh, let's try double time. Let's double time.
Broken chords.
Yeah, it's like a style
gotcha.
of playing. It makes sense.
Yeah, I gotcha.
I wonder, do I have note length in here? That's the one thing that I would love to have, just like shorter notes. And then, I think those are all like time feel stuff, but yeah, making the notes shorter is the one thing that I would love to do first.
Is it in manual or something?
Maybe. Manual lets me do stuff like I'm not sure. These are like more like yeah, because I think it's something about the feel. Like I would just like to have. Yeah, it's kind of weird that it doesn't have that, right? Like that's the one thing I would just want to say. Like play shorter. I guess. If it makes sense.
Yeah, of course it makes sense, but I'm guessing it's either hidden somewhere or it's sort of a thing they decided for you that the AI knows the note lengths based on the other settings. What I found interesting, maybe I don't know if it's a boring remark or not, but if you go into details on the top bar, you go into details. There's main details, and then there's like one knob in a huge area which says grace note, but it's just this one knob and covering all this area. It's like basically the style of I guess UI here is very much around like the exact choices and giving a lot of ground for every knob and feeling of like this is substantial. But yeah, it's a very interesting way to create, because I'm pleasantly surprised by, I guess that's the feeling you want to get from a generators. You want to be pleasantly surprised. So in that sense, it kind of nails it. So every selection you made, I was like, whoa, I wonder what this would sound like. And that's a good thing, because, you know, it's the first time I've had that from like random it's not random, but you know what I mean? Like from sort of generation plugins, generative plugins. And having the AIs jammed together, you know, it's sort of, it covers ground that, you know, for me to play a piano part like that is almost like impossible, and programming it would take a long while. So immediately I'm all about the piano one, naturally, because I can play the bass parts myself. But yeah, it's fun for me to imagine just coming up with a cool, funky clav line or a synth pattern or whatever, just very easily arpeggiated synth pattern or something like that. But also the feeling of having the stylistic choices of actual musicians embedded in there is I guess the best thing about it, you know.
Yeah, you know what's interesting about the way it works? Well, I've stopped sharing, but it's just like a general thought about this, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
It is obviously MIDI, but it's kind of like, and you can export this as MIDI, but like what it gives you, at least initially, is not a MIDI file. Oh yeah, so
audio,
you know what, Alberto?
Right?
Yeah, it gives you audio, or you can get the MIDI. So it's kind of like the way it connects to the MIDI is kind of unclear. But I definitely feel like you know even the piano parts, which I wouldn't use, right? Like to me the piano parts, like I wouldn't use them, but maybe somebody who's never doesn't play piano would be using them. But it is the bass parts. I feel like maybe you feel differently, but I feel like they're a good starting point, like to build on the real bass line.
But I feel exactly the same way about the piano. So in some settings that, especially the earlier ones, which were simpler, it's like sometimes I just want to come up with something and I need somebody to hold down chords. And you know, when you're like in a creative mood, you're like somebody on like drugs trying to get a fix, and you're like, I can't be bothered with like typing notes on a piano roll or something like that because I can't actually play the parts. So that's sort of, it facilitates this sort of creative mood where like just, it's 4 chords. I just need something to play them while I come up with this melody or this bass part. So in that sense, I guess the immediacy it adds to the creation process is the main point. And then if you end up with something from it in the final product, then yay. But other than that, that's kind of the way I would use it, at least from the very basic,
So one
basic introduction you just gave.
So the one thing Alberto is asking about the stem splitter, and I would love to just try it live. Let's hope.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. I want to play a song of ours and try to split it and see what this is gonna do.
Maybe just so it doesn't get flagged, we can do something that's not like licensed music. Do we have like a demo, the Eon demo or something?
Yeah,
that's not on like Spotify and YouTube, and you know what I mean. Like
Right,
CD Baby.
if it was something, play something from the Modalics, from the Project RNL album or something that's gonna kick us out because even though it's our music.
It's gonna get flagged.
Yeah, so let's see what we're going to do that's different. Let's see what do I have on my machine.
I can send you the Eon track if you want.
Oh, yeah? You have that? Even though it is on our
I think
YouTube
I
channel,
have
but
it.
it's on... Yeah. Okay, that's good.
I think I have the audio.
Or-
I'll
you
need
know
a
what?
second.
Oh, you know what? I have all the Mindset drums tracks. I think we should have all of them.
Oh, there we go. That's amazing. Yeah, sure. Maybe start
That's
with purple giant. We called it.
Yes, good idea. Okay. Yeah, because it's got guitar, it's got bass, like something that has a lot of instruments for you to split. Let's see.
Right.
This is going to be the first time
would
I'm
be
actually trying this.
Also really cool to try something like Human Followers, which is noisy and has a lot of like heavy guitars and stuff.
Awesome. Let me just go and look for this.
I've actually never used a stem splitter. I mean, I did research it for a short while, but I've never actually like gotten to a point where the channels sounded good enough to kind of work with. So it'd be interesting to see how they nailed it. So for anybody joining right now, we're covering some new features in the new version of Logic. We had some fun with the AI musicians and new samplers, and now we're trying the stem splitter as recommended by Alberto. And Eyal will share his screen so we can see what he's doing as soon as he's ready with a track that's not licensed in any way, so we don't get kicked out off YouTube and all that.
I'm trying to remember where we have all the.
I can. It's called SoundCloud playlist. We have like this crazy amount of folders on our Dropbox, so nothing is easy to find. Hold on.
Tell me
this
where
makes
it is.
for. I'm trying, but naturally, when you try to do stuff like that, Purple Giant, I'll just write the name of it. That's so annoying. So we have this track that Mike Mallion produced called Purple Giant, and we all kind of played on it, produced it, and all that. And we're trying to find that in order to have the stem splitter. Awesome.
Yes.
Have the stem.
Found it.
There we go. Have the stem splitter kind of have its way with it.
So let's see how the stem splitter works in general. While my folder syncs. Oh, okay, I got it. So okay. So here's the track. I'm gonna play. Let's see if the audio is fine. Let's remove all these. You know what? Let me just open a new project and
Cool,
get out of this AI thing. Yeah, just audio.
Let them
project.
Jam. It would be cool if you could like set them up, close the project, they would come up with the parts, and then next time you open the project, they figure it out. Just play great parts for you, and that's it. You don't have to watch them.
And also, because if they give me notes like, hey, your chord sucks, so we change them.
Yeah. We actually, you know what? The guys have been talking, and we decided to replace you with another producer. Let me introduce you to my friend.
There's a book, one of my favorite books of all times. It's a book called The Rotters Club. It's a book by a British writer. I forgot his name. It's an amazing book. It's about these, and it's a book that was released somewhere in the early 2000s, but it's a book about life in the 70s, right? About and about people who were teenagers in the 70s. I think they even made there's even a TV show made about it in England.
Right.
Anyway,
Okay.
So in that book, there's somebody who's like a huge prog rock fan. That the name of the book, The Rotters Club, is the name of a great progressive rock album. And that band is mentioned. The band Hatfield in the North, they're mentioned in the book. So anyway, this kid is this huge progressive rock fan, and he's a musician, and he writes, just like everybody in that era, he starts to write a concept album based on Lord of the Rings. And he writes this big score where the score itself has drawings of like people from Lord of the Rings, the character from Lord of the Rings, and it's very, it's a huge piece. It's like it's like a 2-hour piece with themes and stuff. And he's wrote all the notes, and he it's inspired by classical music. So it's very much like in the style of music made in the 70s.
Right.
And he starts a band with the people from his school, and they all sit down there and they learn the music, and they sit very quietly and they play, and then they work on it for a while, but then he leaves for a few minutes, and when he comes back, they all start playing Sex Pistols. And from that point on, they don't want to play any more prog rock. They just want to play Sex Pistols. Basically, the band falls apart.
That sounds about right. That sounds about right. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So, audio is good.
Yeah. Sounds great. And this is the track Purple Giant. It's a Mindset Drums demo with Mike on drums. I did the bass. They all mixed it. It's a collaborative effort, and Alon Tamir on guitars.
I like this track a lot. Okay, so so let's see where is this?
Maybe utility. No.
I'm a bit thinking of myself. We can Google this.
Alberto, do you know where the stem splitter is?
Yes, Logic Pro 11 stem splitter. Let's see where it is.
Thank you, Evo. Is it Evo or Ivo? I guess you have no way to answer that.
Let's see. Oh, processing. Here it is. Oh, I think maybe it's an offline effect. Maybe it's not like an insert. So it's here it is. Here it is. Stem splitter. Okay, are you ready?
There we go.
So vocals, drums, bass, other. Let's see what. There's no vocals here.
But I would say leave it on to see what if it knows Evo. Okay, good.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Alberto.
Okay. Let's.
So
are we ready?
It doesn't think we have vocals.
Yes, which is kind of good, by the way. I like that.
Yeah.
So let's see.
I guess it's okay.
I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad. Like it adds a little bit of noise.
It's very corrupted, though.
Yeah, it's got a little bit distorted, but it did pick up the bass really cleanly, like which I. His drums.
This is actually awesome. Did you notice that some of the kick drums have a bass note?
Yeah. No, it removed some of the ghost notes and stuff. So it's like a gated version of the drum.
No, but this one is way better than the bass.
Yeah. I mean, so okay. So I mean, first of all, it's very impressive.
Wait, there's another track.
Wait, right. There's other. So this is the guitars. Let's see from the beginning. The guitar and the synth together. You hear the drums on top, by the way? Like there's a click from the drums.
Yeah. So, to be honest, this is what I've experienced from other stem splitters as well. I could never get it. Yeah, the guitar is awesome. The guitar is awesome on this track.
The drum fill sounded like a typewriter. Like so it had the rhythm of the kit in there. It's so funny.
Just the hits. Just the hits.
Is this the hits? It sounds like how I'm when I'm listening to music with just headphones on, and you just hear me tapping on the
tapping
desk.
on the table. Yeah, it's funny. It doesn't strike me as.
Sorry.
You know what? It makes me wonder. It makes me wonder if perhaps, like, it does seem like a very Apple thing to do is after the stem splitting to kind of do a noise reduction or something, just a sort of secondary process to sort of differentiate between the bulk of the sound and then the artifacts. I do understand the problem in creating like complete separation, But then again, I have to say, it sounds like Pliny. We love Pliny. And actually, Mike is the was the drummer for Monuments, and he also played with, like, I guess all the modern great guitar players like Jakub Zaiteki and
Wait, and
yeah. So it's
Alon just had Pliny. Alon is the guitar player here. He just had
yeah,
a duet with Pliny on his new album.
right,
The
which
guitar player
I
you're
also
hearing.
I actually also play on that album. I don't remember if it's on the track with Pliny, but anyway, Alon Tamir is just a fantastic, phenomenal guitar player, and he has a bunch of awesome music out. So yeah, anyway, the stem splitter, I have to say, I'm digging it for the functionality and the fact that, like, I could just easily learn the guitar and bass lines right now, and I could easily use the drums to sort of sample them and come up with ideas. But as far as like the fidelity goes, which I guess isn't that important sometimes, it is kind of, I don't know, uh, familiar in a sense. So other stem splitters I've heard had similar issues. I am, yeah,
I
interested
want to say
about
something
tracks
else.
like you
Yeah.
tried Moises and Isotope RX-7. I think this is better. I'm not saying it's not good. I'm just, I guess, like, my expectations are set pretty high with regards to the this sort of stuff. So I'm looking for that, kind of clean separation, and I guess everybody's looking for. But I guess I'm also not the target audience, which is also important to note.
So let's try this track. Let's see what it does. So this is the track, the raw track. I love this song.
Yeah, that's awesome. This is again the same. Oh, it's not the same crew. On drums, it's Doron Giat, who sampled the kit from Mindset. Um, I'm on bass, and Alon again is on guitars. And this is sort of. I love Evo just jumping in with the awesome references. I guess we share similar tastes, Evo. So it's really really nice to meet you, man. So let's see what it does. I wonder if we have a vocal
Suppressing.
track.
Okay, so let's see what this is going
Yeah,
to do.
it's probably
Okay, ready? Here's the
just the
bass.
bass. Yeah, but you know what? Just thinking about it again, if I needed to learn this track, this would be a huge help, Even
Yeah,
at
for
this state.
transcribing. Yeah.
For transcribing, this is amazing. This is actually pretty good. Music is a bit loud for me.
Oh, sorry. By the way, I'm hearing some feedback from you, or I think I don't know where this comes.
Maybe the music is super loud, so maybe my headphones are
Oh, the
sending
like
it back.
leaking. Yeah. Let's see the drums. I mean, as somebody who someone who knows how the original track sounds like the original track, we've had actually streams where we're playing just the solo tracks from this. I mean, it's to me the drum sounds really gated, but it's still very impressive.
Yeah,
like it
yeah.
definitely
On this
gates out
track
a lot of
even-
the small things on the hi hats and.
On this track, even more so than the other one, I guess. Like, I'm more impressed here than the other one. Maybe the bass is a bit more muddied, but overall, I don't know. I'm kind of coming around in a sense because I'm thinking, thank you, Evo. This is actually our Mindset Drums. He's saying the great drum sound. So this is Mindset Drums played by Doron Giat. He's playing it on an electronic kit. Yeah, let's try Human Followers because this is like a very, or Mindset Funk. You know what? I want to try all of them. This is really interesting to listen to. So if you want to check out Mindset Drums, it's available right now. It's on sale. We're also running like 10% off and everything on our site currently. So jump in, grab yourself amazing drum sounds. There, I'm done plugging our company.
Oh, good. Yeah, so let me hear the full song first, just for a bit.
Right. Oh, I think maybe it disabled it because you stem split it. So maybe undo it or something. Oh, there we go. Good evening, everybody, and we're it always feels like we need to start a talk show at the end here. So people are asking, what is this? Brilliant. This is super. Thank you so much for that. This is all like original music produced, composed by Mike Mallion, and then there's horns by Omri Abramov, which is our Project RNL bandmate. On this one, I didn't play. Okay, Mike played all the instruments. This is the feature track for Mindset Drums. This is the track that's the demo we released it with. So you're listening to Mike, who's a world-renowned drummer and producer, and he's playing an electronic kit with our sounds, and then playing the bass, the key parts, basically everything except the horns, which just Omri did this unbelievable job arranging horns for this track and playing them. And Eyal mixed it, I think, like brilliantly, like he always does. And yeah, that's what we listen to right now. Interesting thing here, I'm noticing the vocal track did pick up some information. So I'm wondering what it thought vocals were here.
Let's see. Sorry. I'm still hearing some loop coming to my headphones from the music. I don't know if somebody sees it, hears it other than me. I hear the music coming back to my ears for whatever reason.
Can you play it for a second? I'll check if I mean, I haven't changed anything since we began.
What is this? What is
weird.
this? What did I just hear? I mean, I know what's that part. It's it's the brass,
the horns, yeah,
the horns, yeah. But it's it's so funny that it picked it up as a vocal.
But you know what's super? No, seriously, for a second. You know what's amazing about this? It actually sounds like vocals. So it did separate just what constitutes a sort of vocal sound, and it put that in a track. And I think this is like one of the most.
Look at this.
It sounds like somebody strangling a cat somewhere.
But I mean, there are these high notes, right? That Omri is playing, which is
and it does sound like. It does sound like an old lady screaming in a well.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, Satan is calling. He wants to jam on the sax with you. That's just awful, but it is super interesting. Yeah. Man, Mike is such a badass. drums sound like?
So gated. I mean, it picked up really clean, but it also gated, basically all the sustains of the drums and stuff like that. So Alberto is asking.
I think he means only the vocals.
Can you try the song only without bass drums? Other also.
I think he means just the vocals and like ask for just the vocals from this track, to see if it pumps in more information into the vocal track, because we asked just separate the vocals.
Oh, that's interesting.
I'm guessing.
That's a great idea.
I'm guessing that's if it affects the. Yeah, it's a fantastic question, Alberto.
So by the way, Evo asks who did the drums.
Who did your drums? Again, it's Mike.
So Mike Melian, the composer of the track, he's also the drummer and the bass player and the arranger
and the keyboard player.
There's a video on our Modalics YouTube where you'll see his performance of it. Like it's so you can see it and you'll see him playing, and he's quite an amazing musician. And, we keep harassing him to do more like demos for us, just because we're such fans of his music. And but he's using our plugin, so it's recorded on electronic drums, but with our drum plugin. So it says all the tracks apart from drums. Okay, let's see. So
I just posted our SoundCloud. No, it's fine, Alberto. No worries. I just posted our SoundCloud where you can listen to all these tracks and also to the drums isolated. So if you love what you're hearing, you can get more of that there.
So here's a split of everything without drums. So interesting.
Yeah, it's fascinating actually, because you know what, I was kind of saying it has artifacts and that, but think like, I don't know, if you'd showed me this like, I guess like 10 years ago, I'd have my mind blown just by the fact that there's separation possible for tracks, let alone one that enables me to kind of like, it would save me so much time when I was preparing for gigs, studying like learning albums worth of music, figuring out what the bass is doing. Just imagine, like, sometimes the bass isn't mixed so loud, in some weird genres of music, like all of them. This would help me, like, wow, this is a lifesaver for me. I guess the same goes for either learning music or even just like for sampling. Like if you think about it, you could actually extract some really cool samples from this and then kind of chop them up like people do with drum and bass music. So you can, you can just grab a loop that sounds great from a song you like and kind of chop it up yourself. So EX Acoustics is asking for a cowbell on every beat, a foghorn, and a Flavor Flav, yeah boy, sample. So is that like a note, like just that sounds like the worst combination ever. I'm impressed up with these three elements. Cool. I don't know if we'll do that right now, but I'll keep it in mind. So yeah, the stem separator. We're kind of impressed by it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think it's. I mean, definitely for transcribing, I would use it tomorrow. Like it's.
Oh yeah.
It's definitely going to be something that I'm going to be using. I know people who need more fidelity. Like if you do like a remix or something when you want more fidelity out of the track, it's going to be more difficult. Like for example, when I heard the bass, my first impression was okay. If I would do a remix and I would take the bass track, I would need to do a serious low pass filter on this to remove all the stuff, and then what I would probably do is I would remix the bass in a way that like I would do a low pass. We can try it now or something, but I would do a low pass just to get all the bad frequencies out and whatever, and then I would add my own distortion on top of this to have some
just to
or something like that.
Yeah, to get the harmonies back on that. I have like two thoughts about this that are sort of from a user standpoint, like what I would love to have. So one of them is to create a sort of the basic one. First of all, is just to have a bit more control, because it just seems too basic to just have the separation for vocals, drums, bass, or whatever, the 4-track sort of options that are there. And also perhaps a sort of way to fine-tune to be able to get like cleaner separation. So let's say if I know something about the music, that I can kind of give that information to the software for it to kind of do its job better. So I guess like that's what I'm lacking. And also like the definition of other is sort of weird for me, because wait, you're telling me like you can expertly separate the drums, but you can't separate the saxophone from the synthesizer or something. And the second note is combining that with the AI bass or whatever, their bass sampler, is just such a perfect fit. Like if there was some way where I could just extract bass from somewhere and replace it with their own sampler, it just seems like a very cool feature to add. I don't know if it has any issues other than like legality issues or whatever. I'm guessing not, but yeah, that's my initial thought is, wait, the bass is really clear and separated. You're telling me like I can just hit a button and replace it with their own AI bass. That's, it's something I would be excited to do with actually every instrument that's cleanly separated. I'd love to get the drum track here and convert the drum track to MIDI or whatever, just or even to their own drummer, not even MIDI, just the audio, to have it for myself to use with high fidelity and another instrument altogether. So that's my two thoughts, as sort of points that for the future. I guess if I'm guessing all the CEOs of Apple are listening right now, so
I'm sure Tim Cook, immediately went on the.
He's like, "Where's my notebook? I got to write this down. This guy's a genius. He's just talking about bullshit." But yeah, you know how it is. Like we as developers, we're first and foremost users, and when I see stuff like this, I let my imagination kind of go and say, well, these are the things I want to press a button and have all the magic happen.
Absolutely. All right, I think this was a pretty fun stream. Like, we've been going for 2 hours. I'm hoping people got their value from this. I thought it was awesome. I don't know. I really enjoyed the idea that we were investigating the unknown. Like, you have to remember, this all came out yesterday. We didn't use any of this new Logic stuff until now. And I like the discoverability part of this. I hope people
definitely
enjoy this as well. Like, I think maybe we can do this often with new stuff that we're doing, new stuff that other people are doing. I think this is sometimes it's fun to also listen to music, like especially if we can hear tracks like this or analyze them or just listen to the tracks. I think it's fun.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm thinking like we can going forward, we want to do this once a week. We can actually always kind of have some music to listen to, and maybe something we want to feature or explore together with questions from you guys, and maybe get our perspective on it as developers and as users and musicians and all that. That'd be really cool. So thank you for everybody that's joined us and been with us so far, and lovely to meet you guys, and hope to see you again in our next stream.
All right.
Awesome.
Bye.
See you.